Boston, the Red Sox starting 3-9 won't signal the end of their title hopes, even if fans are starting to panic and prediction models are beginning to cast doubt on the chance of a World Series repeat. But the dismal opening stretch will impact Boston for the rest of the season, causing decision-makers like Cora and Dombrowski to veer from the plan the team has had in place since October. Here are 5 tangible effects of the 3-9 start. Increased bullpen tinkering. The Sox entered the season with an idea of how many innings each of their relievers would throw, but obviously didn't foresee the rotation being this bad in the first month. It's likely there are a few relievers who have pitched much more than the Sox would have wanted at this point. That means Boston will probably tinker with the bullpen mix frequently in the coming months, calling pitchers up from Pawtucket and even looking at players who aren't on the 40-man roster, Jenry Mejia, Erasmo Ramirez and others, to eat innings in the first half. They've already made one move, with Marcus Walden coming up over the weekend in place of the injured Brian Johnson. Walden, Colton Brewer and Hector Velasquez each have minor league options, so they're likely to be shuttled to Pawtucket if the team wants to bring someone up. Out of options, relievers like Heath Hembree, Brandon Workman and Tyler Thornburg would need to struggle badly to be exiled off the roster. Cora may have to chase wins in his first season as manager. Cora prided himself on not chasing wins, by letting one game lead him to veer off the team's long-term course. Put another way, Cora was willing to lose a random game in the first half if it meant keeping his key players healthy and fresh for later on. That plan worked to perfection in 2018, after a 17-2 start, but is clearly less feasible now due to the early hole. While Cora isn't going to put his players' bodies on the line to win a regular season game, there are times he'll go all in that we wouldn't have seen a year ago. Take Sunday's 1-0 win against the Diamondbacks as an example. Cora recognized the importance of ending a miserable road trip with a win and managed the 11th game of the season like a playoff game. No room for September build-up as Chris Sale returned from his shoulder injury. The Red Sox had the luxury of using September like a second spring training for the lefty and built him up in games that were virtually meaningless at that point. Sale was able to work on his own schedule, with the results mattering little in a divisional race that was already won. If Sale or someone else gets hurt this year, the Sox likely won't have room to do something like that again. Cora has admitted the club was only able to build Sale's unique program because of its division lead, so a tight race means any injured player will have to come back quicker and in meaningful late-season games. AL East is a 3-team race at the beginning of the year. The AL East looked like a clear 2-horse race between the Red Sox and Yankees, with the Rays potentially grabbing a wild card spot. Now, with Tampa Bay off to a 10-3 start and both the Sox and Yankees struggling, it's clear there will be 3 contenders for the division for a couple of months. The Rays won't win at a .769 clip for long, but it's clear they have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball and are a legitimate playoff contender. For the Red Sox, they're a formidable divisional opponent who should not be overlooked. Boston was just 11-8 against the Rays last year and got swept at Tropicana Field in late August. The teams will meet for the first time next weekend in St. Petersburg. Surprising move not out of the question even after starting last season 17-2, the Sox shocked everyone by designating Hanley Ramirez for assignment in late May. So, with a team that's scuffling, Dombrowski likely won't be afraid to shake things up if he feels it will help send a message to the group. It's a wild thought for a front office that went into the winter with their only goal being to keep as much of the roster together as possible. But things change quickly. Keuchel, Kimbrel not the only free agents still out there. Much has been made about Dallas Keuchel and Craig Kimbrel being available as free agents in mid-April, but there are still a bunch of other solid players who aren't getting a chance to play this season. Logan Morrison, Danny Valencia, Denard Span, Jose Bautista, Evan Gattis, James Shields, Jim Johnson and Boone Logan are among the remaining free agents. In almost all of those cases, nothing has been said publicly about them all winter. As we saw with Manny Machado and Bryce Harper, the guys at the top of each free agent class are going to get their money. What the MLBPA should really be mad about is veterans like the ones listed above being squeezed out of the game too early. ******* 10 observations from the last week. 1. The Red Sox ring ceremony was well done, as those things usually are at Fenway Park. But the decision for the players to not be introduced over the public address system was surprising. 2. Brandon Phillips was on hand to get his ring after getting 3 hits in 9 September games. Remind me why NBA players are criticized for ring chasing, but it's fine in baseball. 3. The Chris Davis saga in Baltimore is legitimately sad. I'd highly recommend this SI piece by Stephanie Epstein from last season. 4. Joe Maddon went from being the greatest manager in baseball history to being on the hot seat in about 2 years. If he does get fired, here's hoping those in Chicago remember the good times. 5. The Astros are beginning to look like themselves and just swept the Yankees for their 6th win in a row. Unfortunately for them, the Mariners' 5-game winning stream and Angels' 6-game streak won't let them pick up any ground. 6. Cleveland losing Mike Clevinger for an extended stretch is very tough for them. He's probably the most underrated, or under-talked about pitcher in the game. 7. Yasiel Puig has been on the top of my list of people I wouldn't want to fight for years. The fight against the Pirates confirmed I was right all along. 8. I knew the Yankees' injury bug was bad, but it's so bad I've never heard of 2 guys currently on their 25-man roster. Best of luck, Mike Tauchman and Joe Harvey. 9. Adam Jones' hot start with Arizona, 362 quarters HR, 6 RBI, proves that reports of his demise were greatly exaggerated. Almost a lock to be traded to a contender at the deadline on that 1-year, $3 million deal. 10. The 3 division leaders in the National League are the teams who won those divisions in 2018. But in the American League, it's the third-place team from last year that leads every division. Weird.